Welcome to Atikin Plays Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. All right, hi, this is Atikin, and welcome to part 16 of our second playthrough of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. Now, in part 15, we worked on, we talked a lot about the education system, and then we worked on setting up the plan for this area right here, which is going to be our coal ore processing. We're going to have 4 coal ore processors loading into a couple of coal storage. We've got a train setup going. Our first initial pass will probably export coal, hook into this line, and take coal over to Molna for export. And then later on, shortly thereafter, hopefully, we will be adding in a steel mill somewhere, probably over in here, hooking this up so that we can run our coal into the steel mill, and also hooking up Ironton, which is right down here, which produces iron. It's now being exported. We'll hook that into our steel mill, but you guys should know this if you've been following along. So what I want to do today is start building out the connection to get all of our construction materials out of this area over here, where we're creating a lot of construction materials and or importing them near the border, and we want to move them over here into kind of a rail yard where we can get all of our supplies into this area, and then set up our construction offices and get this construction going. And I said I was going to let it run for a little bit and get some money, and you'll notice we got some pretty good money here fairly quickly. And I wanted to share with you, first of all, what I did to improve the economy, I think, rather significantly. So, because I had some mistakes. So let's go back and look at last month, a full month of December. You notice we made an 800,000 ruble profit, and we only exported under a million rubles worth of exports. But a couple things to notice. Notice that nice fuel export and the nice bitumen export. That's more like the numbers we were getting when we first built out a refinery and had a whole lot of people working there. And notice we've got a nice profit from our iron, and we're even doing some alcohol and food and some bricks. So I guess we could look at the refinery first. And remember, in the last episode, I invested in bringing in a lot of people, just spent the money, spent the rubles to bring in a lot of people with some education, because Matt had pointed out we just didn't have educated workers. Notice we've gone from 120 to now this is 289, and it's been getting up closer to 400. So our refinery is producing much better. But also notice we are still staying ahead on the oil. So we are not importing any oil, yet we're starting to make profit from fuel and bitumen at the rate we were making when we were really kind of at our peak earlier in the game. So good news. That's great, because now we're making good export money on fuel and bitumen, but no import costs for oil. The other big thing I did was look at the power. And if you'll recall, we set up another coal power plant over here and got it going to take advantage of the fact that we've got plenty of coal coming in from this mine up here, being processed by this single coal ore processing plant over here in kind of what I think of as our power area, this area over here, right over in here where we've got our power plants, other than that first one we did up here, and I'll get back to that one in a minute. So we built this, and I've hooked it into our grid, and I've also hooked it in over to our electrified track, so that we make sure we have enough power for our trains. It goes like this over here and hooks into the electrified track. And so then I looked at that and thought, well, you know what? We've got import of power going on here in Kaizina, and we had imports turned on in Molna to give us some extra power for our tracks. Well, now that we've got this power plant, and if you remember in the last episode, that power plant had plenty of people, plenty of coal, but wasn't producing much, and still not producing a whole lot. Well, why is that? Because we don't need it. We've got all the power we need, so that says we don't need the imports. So I turned off the imports at Kaizina and Molna, and that helped a ton, because we have quit importing power into our system. Let's go back to last month. So you see there's no power being imported, and our imports have gone way down. We still got that wood. I'm going to fix that as well. I think I'll fix that in this episode. So we got those imports way down, which, you know, we're getting closer to being self-sufficient, but we're a long way from it, but we're getting closer. But the biggest thing is we're making a huge profit now. And yes, it is a profit. I don't care if we're a socialist country. This is a profit. We are making a profit by exporting more than we import. And that profit is really solid given the fact that that's not a massive month. There's no close in that week. We can do even better. But the profit rate is lovely. So now we've got an economy going. So by turning off that power export, and I said I was going to come back here. I also shut down the coal export over here because this mine is, I wanted to make sure that we had enough coal, and now we do. See, we've got plenty of coal ore going on. But I wanted to make sure that this processing plant is making enough coal to make sure that we always have plenty of coal here and we're not importing coal. Now, I played around with turning this off. You do not want to turn this off. You want to make sure that you're still importing coal into your power plant. Why is that? Because if there is a problem, like if you happen to just run into a set, one of those deals where, you know, you just had a couple empty buses go up here, there's no coal coming down here, this guy's not getting coal ore, and you're not putting coal in your power plant, well, what will happen is that the power plant will shut down. Well, that's where all these things are getting their power. Now, they don't have any power. They stop working. He stops working. Of course, that means that you perpetually have no coal in your power plant, and the whole thing will shut down. So you do keep your import on, but this import right here, this coal, is really a reserve in case of emergency. It's not being used because we've got a good flow of coal going and we've got plenty of coal in there. So now what I was seeing when I was kind of tweaking the economy is that we were importing coal ore and we were importing coal, and that's ridiculous when we're out here exporting it. That was silly. So I ran these trains out, emptied them, and sold them off. And this is still here, and we could still, you know, we could run a train once in a while or export some coal if we want to. But I'd just as soon keep all this as a reserve, keep this thing nice and full, and make sure that this power plant can go. And we could even consider, if we wanted to put another power plant, we could actually put one here if we wanted to, or whatever. But I'd much rather have kind of an excess of coal than to at any time be importing coal or coal ore because of the unusual circumstance where I've hauled it all off to export it and then I start importing it. I don't want to get in that loop. So now we've got a nice store of coal over here to do these. We can easily add more power plants. We can even get into the export power business if we want to. So our economy is looking much better. Again, let's go back and look at that because that's a pretty number. These are pretty numbers. What we did in December of 1975, very nice, very, very nice. So now we've got a nice, strong economy. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about quickly is, there's two or three things. So, and by the way, guys, keep these comments coming. They're great. It's how we all get better, including me, is the comments that you guys add in. And so the next one I want to share the other thing I want to talk about was, remember I said that our crop system was working great and we were actually creating too many crops? Well, that is true, but only to a degree, because here's what's really happening. What was really happening is, because of the whole thing with the education leak that we talked about, I was taking people, remember, from over here and moving them into these hostels. And they were going back to wherever they went back to, but not necessarily here. What was happening was we just weren't producing food quickly enough. So it looked like we had plenty of crops, but it's just because we weren't going through the crops. It's very similar to our oil situation where it looks like we got a ton of oil, but what was really happening is we weren't using it fast enough in the refinery. We had the same deal going on over here for our distillery and food. We weren't using the crops fast enough. Well, I've started adding some people in here. Over time, as our education system catches up, notice how much better it is now. We've got some more educated people over here, and we're getting a lot of people in the classroom and not so many standing outside wishing they could get an education. So this is all on a positive loop now. It's going to get better and better. Our education system over here is going to catch up. We're going to get more and more educated workers. We're going to get more and more people in this, and this is going to go start getting closer to 500 again, and we'll start going through our oil and making lots of money on our refinery the way it should be. So same deal with the crops. As we get more and more people in here, we're going to start getting higher and higher numbers in here, making more and more food. And by the way, we do actually, let's go back to the last month again and look at the imports. And one of the things you'll notice is we actually imported some food. Well, there's no excuse for that because we are exporting food. We've got this train exporting food. Well, the reason that we were importing is we weren't making it fast enough to keep the trucks full that are coming in here and loading and taking them off to here and taking food down here to Dravo, wherever Dravo is, down here to the small shopping center. And so we were and also over here to our other little city, we've got our Power City. We've got our Power City that has trucks delivering to it. We just weren't making food fast enough. That's why we were importing food. There's no excuse for that. That's silliness. So we need people. The whole thing is have people. If you don't have people, you don't have efficient industries. Okay, let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Two things. Ben Gigi commented that one way we could solve the problem with our university is by setting up a bus line that allows students, and setting up a line like, say, we could have a stop here and allow students on here and run buses over here. And by doing that, what we would be doing is telling people here who wanted to go to university, hop on the bus, go over here, get your university education. But the beauty of it is they would continue to live here. So you wouldn't be stripping out your workforce that's supposed to be. These people are supposed to be going to the refinery to work. And we would actually just be getting more and more educated people that would go into work in the refinery. And then we'd have plenty of teachers for our school, so we wouldn't have the situation of only having 2 teachers and having a bunch of students out in the schoolyard. That's extremely inefficient. So let's just try that real fast. Let's put in a couple of buses. I keep running this one, so why not? Okay, we're going to build a bus line, and we're going to tell this one right here that it can take students. Okay. And we're going to tell this bus to go from here to, we'll just tell it to go to the university. And start. We'll copy the line. And by the way, they should change this so I can copy the line and click this, similar to the way you do the train depot. So I'm going to have to run it to let that one leave to tell which one needs copying. We'll copy the line to that one, give the other one a little head start, and then we will start this one. Okay, so now we've got a couple of buses that are going to come over here, pick up students, and we really could, if we wanted to, obviously, we could put in another small bus stop in this area here, and have it dedicated to the students. But we'll just let this go like as it is for now. And I'm not sure which one. This one's got 42 students. I hope this is the one. Let's just see what happens. It looks like he's headed to the university. Let's see if we get more students in our university. He decided to go get, of course he had to go get fuel. So he's fueled himself up. He's still got 42 students on the bus. Now I don't know if they'll all be eligible to go here or not. It'll be interesting. They're all getting out. Sure, look at that. Look at that. Now we've got tons of students in our school. but they're actually coming from their neighborhood instead of living in those hostels or dormitories or residence halls, whatever you want to call them. So Ben Gigi's idea looks like a good one to allow your society to gain education. And even if the education doesn't help you as a refinery worker, having more and more people with university degrees ensures us that we have enough people to man our hospitals, to be our doctors, to be our teachers in our schools, and any place else, to be actors and moderators in our radio station. Because you notice here, these are all college grads, and this is a mixture of college grads and others. So good deal. So thank you, Ben. Next one I wanted to say, Craig Peterson noted that you can actually take the brush. So if you're going to want to plant trees, so I want to plant acacia trees, you can take the brush. So let's find a good spot to plant some trees. Where do we need some trees? And of course it's nighttime. Now let me let it run until daytime. And in fact, I'll go over here. I've already done it. You'll see the results of it. Over here in Dravo, where we have our little wood cutting post. All right, as the sun comes up, notice that I've gone into this area and planted a bunch of trees that are just in the process of growing, a bunch of pine trees. Well, what we can do now is, as Craig pointed out, you can actually take your brush, like say I want to plant pine trees, and see, look at this. I can make it real small, like plant a tree at a time, or I can plant a bigger amount. I can spread this out, and I can say if I wanted to plant, look at this. Now I want to plant pine trees along that whole area. That's beautiful. So I went back in, since it was so easy. I went back in and we our refinery ropery grew a beard. So I planted a bunch of trees in there. It was super easy. It only took a few seconds. Now it does kind of, and I put some, I think beech or acacia, whatever these trees are, right in here. And notice we've got a thick growth of trees. I think the trees overgrow, and the ones that really overgrow are the bushes. I'd like to see these bushes stay nice and small and neat looking. That would be an improvement in my opinion. But anyway, thank you, Craig. That's very helpful. So if until we have an auto purchase for our wood cutting, it's very easy now to just expand that brush and put those trees in there very quickly. So let me think if there's anything else. And see how our economy's going up? It's beautiful. Look at this. We're not even halfway through. We're already making 450,000 ruble profit, and we've only exported 500,000. So this is lovely, lovely, lovely. So now we've got an economy. All right, so what do we want to work on? I want to figure out, we want to go, I think, let's build the rest of our plan. Let's build the rest of the plan here so we know what the city needs to look like, and then we can pick the place where we want to bring our construction materials and where and we can even plan out our rail yard. Why not? And then we'll go back and put in the connection with the rail lines and all that good stuff. So, so we've got our coal ore processing. So we're going to have coal down here, and coal coming to the aggregate loading train station, and we've got what should be a very effective coal mining process up here, because we've got a beautiful 57% yield on our coal mine, our coal ore mine, and we've got houses tight against it so that we can keep it staffed. We've got this worst place in America, worst place in our republic to live right here. These poor people. There's going to be coal ore dust flying from all these conveyors and plants putting out smoke and soot. Oh my word. These poor people, they're probably going to live at the doctors. But remember, we set them up so that they could walk to these four coal ore processing plants, because they're the only things that actually need, in all this mess, they're the only things that need employees. our staff. I guess we don't have employees since we don't pay anybody. And they're going to actually, to get their needs met, they're going to walk over here to a bus stop and go to school and to to the hospital. Lots of trips to the hospital, and to cinema and food and what have you. All right, so let's figure out what we want to do to build up. Well, first of all, I think we definitely want to make sure we've got rail tracks to go to do our. Now we're in the electric world. So can we run a track? Let's run a track like so, and like so. And let's see, let's follow our, I'm actually going to take that road out for a moment so I can do some measuring. I want to put in our 8-ton rule, or 6-ton rule. Okay, remember the 6-ton rule. That says that in order to make sure you've got enough space for the big train to fit in there, you go get this middle, the concrete-based railway, and we figure out how far in could that train go. It could go to there, and we want to make sure that we have 6 tons worth of steel coming out through here. Okay, now counting for the curve and everything, that should be plenty. So we should be able to put our diamond crossing. I forgot the name. Shoot, I'll look it up. One of you wrote back. One of you works for a railway construction company and pointed out that when we make this kind of a crossing, we tend to call it an X crossing. I tend to call it an X crossing. Those of you who've been with me from Railway Empire know I sometimes call it a diamond. That's what it really is called in the train business, is a diamond crossing. And because when you're standing on it, it looks, you get the it looks like a diamond, but it certainly looks like an X, and that's why I tend to call it one, because it's a good visual for people who aren't trained people. So we're going to do our usual setup here. There we go, and we don't need that measuring stick anymore. All right, so should have no problem getting trains in and out of there to export coal. And then of course the question becomes, where are we going to put our steel mill and our downtown? I think the downtown is going to be maybe out here. That would be a nice spot for it. That'd be an easy shot for this, an easy shot for that bus. And then we could set up our steel mill with train going in to it from there. So let's just build our downtown around that idea. So if we put in, okay, if we put in a nice big train platform and put it something like this, that should be good. Then we could run a line that goes like that, and then back up. like so. And now we've just we built a bunch of track down through here thinking we were going to have the downtown more over this way, but that was a mistake. And it actually got built while I was doing stuff elsewhere. I've never really intended for it to be built, but that's okay. We'll just kill it because it really is not helping us. Okay. Now, good news here, of course, we're going to be running small passenger train. I really prefer many small trains to large trains. You don't want to get super big trains for your passenger trains. So we're going to put in our diamond crossing or our X like so. We will chain into it and single direction exit out of it. Beautiful, beautiful. And then from it, I think we can build, let's plan on a road coming out. It's a little lumpier there than I was thinking it was. So let's see if we can't level this out a little bit. I'm using the one that levels from the midpoint. So it's really, it's the same technique people are using when they take a building like a steel mill and use it to level ground. So we're just going to level this out a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfectly level, of course. And we'll have a road coming out from both sides of it, like so. And like so. And I'm kind of thinking of it as this is downtown. This is where you're going to go to the cinema, the shopping center, etc., etc. And this is going to be the school area. So we're going to send people down here to school, and we can even put in a university down here and try this out. We can push Ben Gigi's idea. And I want to put in a medical university. I don't know this for a fact. I don't think they have any special value, but I want to put one in. One, just to make sure, and two, just for variety. Okay, so our downtown, we're going to want people to immediately directly go to the shopping center. So the other thing I want to do with the shopping center is I want to set up deliveries. We want to be able to move our food. Interesting. Okay. If I put the shopping center here, what we're going to want to do is be able to move food and clothing and anything else we create into that shopping center. So I'm going to want to have a warehouse attached to the shopping center. Like that. Like so. And then we're going to want to be able to hook a rail line. We're going to have rail lines flying here, aren't we? Here's our downtown. People are going to come in like this and go to downtown, including people from over here at the steel mill. Okay. Before I get too carried away, let me do the rest of what we need here. Let's put in a cinema right across the street. And a pub. Be nice if it would fit in there. I don't think it will. Doesn't have to. And a pub. And parks. We need parks. Again, it'd be nice if it fit in there, but doesn't have to. All right, so parks. Let's put some parks in. Actually, I want to have the train. The train that comes in here is going to hang out of the warehouse. We know that. I don't want it blocking any roads. So the train track needs to come like this. And how in the world does it think that's too big a hill? I don't know. So it can cross over like this. It's going to be a looping kind of a deal. We're going to have a train that comes in. It's going to come off of this. And it's going to be one-way track. So it's going to come in like this, go loop through, come here and drop off. It'll hang out this way, so we won't build anything back here, but that's cool. We just won't put any roads across that. And it's perfectly fine if these cross, as long as we've got enough space, and I think we do. We've got use our 6-ton rule. Yeah, we got plenty of room there, plenty of room. So the train can hang out this way, do its thing unloading, and then it's going to come out like this. And return this way. And that means I'm going to want to treat this area right in here as one block. Only one train's going to be in this area right here at a time. So we will chain into it, and this one can just be a regular old signal. But we will, and might as well follow our pattern. We'll chain into it here, going the right way, and we'll exit out of it like that. And like that. And like that. And this space right here can have like that. So this little area right here will be one block that the trains, something's wrong. That one is backwards. There we go. So remember, this is a one-way track and this is a double track. All right, cool. So our coal trains can come out, get on the line and run on down and do exports for the time being. Our supply train for downtown can come in like this, drop off its supplies, and then loop back and go get another load. That all looks good. Let's see. So downtown, we need another couple of playgrounds, I think. Okay. And let's see if we have a downtown, and we also want to have asphalt and concrete actually being created here in the downtown section. So we want to have, let's see, where are they? No, they'd be construction. Under construction, concrete and asphalt. So we'll put an asphalt business I think maybe up here. I think maybe we'll have them like that. And like that. And I'm actually and I think rather than trying to I think it's going to be very clumsy and to bring oil into here. Is it? Have to think about that. But we want to have a road. I was hoping it would hook up with that. Of course it won't, but it might right here. Okay, so there's our two businesses, and let's make this road like that. So we've got asphalt and concrete. Wherever our delivery yard is, we'll probably have some trucks running to bring some supplies to these two. We'll staff them from the people who work downtown, and we will use those as the sources for some of our construction. So so there's the downtown. Okay, what do we need in terms of people? For asphalt and concrete, cinema, fire, fire and hospital. I didn't even put those in. Kindergarten, 4 playgrounds, a pub, a shopping center. So let's put in a fire station and but we need 5 flats total. We can see that. We need 4, and we have 166 left, so we might as well do 5. And by the way, I'm overestimating these. It's accounting for the growth, because we really technically, we could be calculating the flats, because the flat size, it's kind of weird. The flat size doesn't tell you the total people that could live in a building. It tells you how many workers. See, 43 workers is the capacity, 179 workers. So those workers could have, the babies and the students living with them. So we could just be calculating this based on, instead of saying the total population of 862 was some kind of projection for babies and students, we could forget that projection. It's just going to happen, and calculate our number of flats based on the 459 rather than the 862. And just to, we don't need to change it, but obviously we get a smaller number of flats. But doing it like this accounts for a little bit of growth, allows you a little more room. It does cost a little more, but that's okay. And then it makes sure you get plenty of workers in there. So Okay, we need $1 million just to immigrate these people. Okay, all right. So hospital and so the main thing, we want the hospital. It needs to be in walking distance of this, which shouldn't be any problem. There's got to build these paths. Now that we're more or less happy with this, we also know we need to build the paths or it messes up our construction. Okay, so if our housing is kind of through here and here, we should be good. Oh, and a kindergarten. We need a kindergarten. Okay. Housing 174. Which one is that? 179. Oh, there it is, that one. Ugh. Let's change to a different building. Let's do this 189 one and see what we get. Okay, still the same answer. We still need 5. Now, someone asked, do you need to connect all 3 of those road connections? Of course not. In fact, you don't have to have any. Your housing does not have to have any road connections as long as it has a path connection. Ambulance and fire can get to it. Speaking of that, I don't have that yet. I think what we're going to have to do is get rid of I want to put the hospital in here in a more central location. These playgrounds probably need to go. Not sure that road is going to work for the. Now look at that. It showed it working, and now it doesn't. And it doesn't, of course. Maybe I flinched. I don't know. Let's try this one more time. Fire station. Well, let's just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Expecting different results. That does not work. Okay, fire station. Turn that way. There, now we have a fire station and a hospital. All right, good. So you can come off this, go to the shopping center, and then go from the shopping to the cinema, to the pub, to the hospital. That's what we want. And we also want to be able to go to some playgrounds. Let's see. Now, can we fit? Oh, never ends, does it? Then we need a kindergarten, and then we need to see if we can get the houses in here. Okay, we have a kindergarten. This housing might be tight. 5 189s. Not enough. Oh man, I must have told it to build it in dollars. All right, stop. Okay. Okay, how many we built? 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to fit one more in here. One more, one more. I've got, let's see, 189. Let's go for two smaller ones. Maybe it would work better. A couple of 90-ish. A couple of 75s would probably be just fine. won't quite get to that one. Let's see if we can fix that. Shoot. No. Let's see. How can we do this? And it won't quite get to that very last one. However, that very last one can obviously work in buildings up this way. That should be good. That should give us a downtown. And the key is if you can take the train to downtown, get off here, if you can walk to here, then the question becomes, and this is what you kept watching me, I kept doing everything from the point of view of the shopping center. The reason being, if you can get off the train and walk to the shopping center, then when you come out of the shopping center, then you can decide, what else do I need to do? Do I need to go to the hospital? Do I need to go to the cinema? Do I need to go get a drink? And you can walk to all that stuff. And then, of course, our staffing, our workers need to be able to walk into the furthest away points, the shopping center. So if all of them can get there, they all can but one, then we should be good on working, and this one that can't get there can obviously work up in here somewhere. And our kindergarten, can everybody walk to that so they can drop their kiddies off? Yes, they can. So okay, that design should work. And the other thing about it is we don't want to have any pathing that hasn't been built. So let's go ahead and set up our paths. Okay. And we could probably use another park. We could actually put parks over here. All right, that should give us a useful downtown. And that should allow folks up here to get downtown, and folks from here can just take the bus downtown, and we'll just have this bus. Oh no. We want to do our students as well. This is going to be our school area. Okay, this line will end up going over to the steel mill area. And it's perfectly fine that these tracks cross one another. It really is not going to hurt a thing. Remember, our long overhanging train will be back here. So when it pulls out, it will just go all the way through. So that's fine. And we can put a signal here and here to clear that track and treat this as a block in here. That works. And I did all that and put that road in so that I could put and there won't be trains stopped in here. They'll go into the station. If they come in here, they'll go all the way into the station. So I want to put a bus stop right here so that the folks that are coming from here can take the bus down and get off right here. And then they can walk over to go to shopping, and then they can go this way, of course, to go to school. All right, so there's our downtown. All right, we've got coal ore, we've got coal, we've got a downtown. Next we need our education. And I think, I'm going to assume we're getting up there in length on this video, so let's stop right there. In this one we managed to build out our plan for downtown. And in the next one we'll keep going and we'll put in our plan for the school and for our steel mill. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video. Thank you.